Hello everyone, this is Victor here. Welcome to the Intelligent Investor channel, where you will learn about stock investing and personal finance that will help you become a great investor. I want to make a very quick and important video today about Alibaba stock. Now, I made several videos about Alibaba stock in the past 1 month. I talk about Alibaba's major risks right now, why Alibaba is undervalued, and why I believe there's a small chance of Alibaba being delisted. Today, I read this latest article from the Wall Street Journal called Americans Won't Be Banned from Investing in Alibaba, Tencent and Baidu. Here is what's said in this article. The US government is expected to let Americans continue to invest in Chinese technology giants Alibaba Group Holding, Tencent Holdings, and Baidu after weighing the firm's alleged ties in China's military against the potential economic impact of banning them. New York-listed Alibaba and Baidu and Hong Kong-listed Tencent were among a dozen companies being examined for inclusion in a Defense Department list of firms deemed to support China's military, intelligence, and security services, according to people familiar with the matter. US investors have until November to divest their holdings of any firm on the list. The US no longer plans to add the 3 firms, which have about $1.4 trillion in combined market capitalization, to the list. 9 other Chinese companies will be added, as well as more than 100 subsidiaries of companies already on the list, the people said. Here are the very important parts you want to know. The decision caps off a weeks-long battle that pit Treasury officials who fear widespread sell-offs and economic fallout against State Department and Pentagon officials seeking a tougher line against Beijing. In the end, Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin prevail. The additions to the list will be submitted to Congress and released publicly as soon as Wednesday, said 2 of the people familiar. In my previous Alibaba videos, I predicted the same thing. I said there's a small chance of the US government delisting Alibaba stock, Tencent, JD, and the major Chinese stocks because of these reasons. First, according to the US-China Economic and Security Review Commission, there were 217 Chinese companies listed on the US stock exchange with a total market cap of $2.2 trillion as of October 2nd, 2020. This is an enormous number. Now, according to Siblis Research, the total US stock market was $50.8 trillion as of December 31st, 2020. Assuming the Chinese company stock values in the US remain the same, all the Chinese stocks would be approximately 4.3% of the entire US stock market. If the US government delists the majority of the Chinese stocks because they are deemed to be affiliated with the Chinese military or because of the Holding Foreign Companies Accountable Act, then delisting all or most of the Chinese stocks, including Alibaba, Tencent Holdings, Baidu, and JD.com, will have a huge economic impact on US investors. Delisting the 200 plus Chinese companies in the US stock exchange will also create a large stock market correction in the US. Most investors, especially Wall Street institutional investors, do not want this to happen. Second, there is the Holding Foreign Companies Accountable Act that could delist Chinese companies if they cannot be audited by the US Public Company Accounting Oversight Board, PCAOB, within 3 years. 3 years is a long time. In my previous video, I said that I believe that the US and Chinese regulators should eventually reach a compromise to possibly allow the US PCAOB to co-audit the Chinese companies within a certain limit, while not violating Chinese regulations. As of now, Chinese regulators do not let foreign regulators auditing Chinese companies because of national security concerns. Third, in my opinion, I said that we should stay away from Chinese state-owned companies because these Chinese companies will have the biggest chance of getting delisted, especially if they're deemed to be affiliated with the Chinese military, even if it is not true. Here's the list of 13 national-level Chinese state-owned enterprises, SOEs, listed on the 3 major US exchanges as of October 2nd, 2020. You will notice that some of these state-owned companies such as China Mobile, China Telecom, and China Unicom are already delisted. I've attached the link to these state-owned companies in the description. Also, here's a list of the blacklisted Chinese companies from the US Treasury. You may recognize some of these companies. I've added the link in the description. Now, I don't follow politics and I'm not an expert at it, but I believe the Biden administration may not be as harsh on Chinese companies as the Trump administration going forward. What I am doing with all this information, if the report from the Wall Street Journal is correct, it's great news for all investors who have invested in Alibaba, Tencent, and Baidu. For me, I will continue to invest in Alibaba, Tencent Holdings, and JD.com for the long term because I like these 3 companies' long-term business prospects the most. And before making this video, I sold my Alibaba ADR shares in the US and bought back Alibaba ordinary shares in the Hong Kong Stock Exchange instead. This is in case Alibaba ADR shares get delisted. I will likely buy more Alibaba and Tencent Holdings ordinary shares in the Hong Kong Stock Exchange going forward. But I will always keep my exposure to Chinese stocks less than 10% of my portfolio. More than 90% of my portfolio is always in US stocks such as Apple, Amazon, Tesla, Microsoft, Facebook, and Google. If you like this video, smash the like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification button. I will continue to make many great videos about stock investing and personal finance that will help you become a great investor. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video.